Claire's showing the mare around some of the kennels.
I'm starting to see some bigger bull breeds now, some mastiffs, big bull mastiffs, American bulldogs. I think there was one when we came in. Hello, puppy. Yes, there's old Victor here. Victor's having a good old look, aren't you, sweetheart? Good boy. These animals shouldn't be in a kennel, they should be in a home, and you would see an awful lot of different behaviour exhibited then. So what you're seeing is really often very false behaviour.
Chill out room.
A lot of our dogs get quite stressed during the course of the day in kennels, and what we do is we take them out, we put them in offices with some of our staff, we obviously walk them out across the park, we take them into the paddock.
So Hilary, you're a receptionist, and who's this?
This is Dottie. I got her from here about 3 years ago.
And Dottie's your dog?
She is mine now. I fostered her for a little while, but she was too cute, so I had to keep her.
So now you bring her into work with you?
Every day she comes and sleeps under the desk and barks at people and chases her own tail.
We're with Laura and Sasha, and Laura's just looking at Sasha and how you're going to find her a home really quickly.
Yeah. Sasha's the new arrival, came in on Saturday. What we will do once the dog's arrived with us is have an assessment and a medical check. Sasha's passed all of that within 3 days, which is great. She's up for rehoming. We often find with our non-bull breeds that we can often rehome them quite quickly. Obviously, some of the bull breeds are staying with us for about 60 days at the moment, which is the difficult side of it. Sasha's going to be fine.
There's time to see some more of the home's kennels with Claire.
These are overflow kennels for our kennel cough dogs who have been assessed as suitable for rehoming, so these dogs will be going to new homes, but at the moment they've still got kennel cough, so they've got to be made better before we can put them out into the public domain. So we struggle with the sorts of kennels that they're in simply because they're under a railway arch, you've got the noise over the top, and then when they all bark it does echo a lot. And we've got these very old kennels that we've been using for decades now that desperately need changing.
It's back to reception to see Jane Bardsley from the fundraising department. So what have you got here?
So these are knitted mice, knitted with all sorts of little bits of catnip inside, the little herby treats that the cats really love to play with and drives them crazy. So they enjoy playing with this. We've got loads and loads, bags in fact, Jane, haven't we?
Tons. Everywhere.
And we are so grateful. We also get knitted blankets, which saves the charity a huge amount of money every year in buying blankets, and we've got some here.
Where do they come from?
We ran an appeal in The Guardian, and we actually had inundated response. We've had one person who's knitted 427 mice for us. The average is about 6 mice per person, I think, and they come from anything from knitting groups, care homes do an awful lot. Basically, it's any way that our supporters can help make the cats' lives better while they're here before they find some new homes.
Before an afternoon meeting, there's a chance to ask Claire some more questions. How many dogs did Battersea take in last year?
Just under 7,000.
And how many of those dogs would have been put down?
About a third of those dogs would have been put to sleep last year.
Why would Battersea put a dog to sleep?
There are a number of reasons that we take that decision with the dogs in our care. Many of the dogs that come into Battersea are extremely dangerous. Many of them have been bred illegally. Many of them are Section 1, banned under the Dangerous Dogs Act, pit bull terriers. Those are the particular types of banned breeds that we get in here, and we will get pit bulls and crosses in here in large numbers. Those dogs we have to put to sleep, unless they're exempted, and that's another story, but the majority of those animals will be put to sleep. We get a lot of dogs who have been trained to fight, used as protection, trained to attack. Those dogs will be put to sleep because we simply cannot responsibly rehome them. We will have dogs who are ill, dogs who are very badly injured, and we can't save them. Those will be put to sleep. And actually we do get some people, members of the public, will come in and ask us to put their own dogs to sleep for whatever reason, in which case we will have very detailed and lengthy conversations with those people, because we're not about putting rehomable dogs to sleep here.
Do you think you could do any more to prevent some dogs from being put down?
Well, you know, Battersea isn't the problem here. Battersea is about providing the solution. So we are picking up the pieces of the problems that are going out on the streets. We're picking up the pieces of backstreet breeding, dogs being sold on the internet, all of the really difficult issues that affect society, with dogs becoming a bit of a throwaway commodity, we're picking up. So we educate at source, we go into communities, we go into schools, we talk about responsible ownership, we talk about how to look after your animal, we talk about animal welfare, we go into the sorts of communities that have these particular types of dogs that we particularly deal with, and we talk again about how to make sure that your dog is well trained, is well socialised. And other charities do the same, but that's not going to be a problem that we can solve overnight. This is a generational issue, and it's a problem that we've been picking up for years and years and years, and will be doing for years to come.
Claire's travelled to West London for a meeting with the Chief Executive of Metro Bank, Craig Donaldson. Battersea has been working with the bank on promotional events to find new homes for some of the dogs.
I reckon we can get 15 events, that's 300 placements, which is 10%-ish of the number of dogs you place in a year, so that really becomes meaningful.
No, it does, doesn't it?
So I'd like to get a calendar in place. So let's lock in on Boreham Wood and Ken High Street. Let's get a calendar in place for probably 15 next year.
Back at the home, Claire's catching up with her PA, Rhiannon Little. How much of your job is admin?
Well, I guess most of my admin is processed actually by Rhiannon, who filters my emails, of which we get
About 60.
about 60 a day. And she will action anything that needs actioning. She will flag up anything I need. She will print off anything I need to work on overnight. I will, a lot of that will be reports that have come in or questions and all sorts of queries, and I'll pick up on that. But I will sit down at the end of the day and probably have 2 hours doing emails myself, because a lot of my emails do need personal attention and personal responses. Okay.
And I've also got your briefing for the party conferences that you're going to. It's come through.
For the Fringe, thank you.
Claire has had 24 years of experience working in charities. She's been at Battersea for 18 months. What sort of skills do you need as the chief executive of this charity?
Well, you need to have good business sense. You need to be able to manage a fairly complex operation. You need to understand people. You need to be able to motivate and guide and lead and inspire people. You need to be a great communicator with not just your teams, but actually external stakeholders as well. You need to be able to fundraise, I think, because a big part of my role is getting out there and actually endearing the charity to lots of potential new supporters. And you really need to have passion.
What type of dog do you take most of at Battersea?
Well, most of one particular type is our bull breeds, and those bull breeds can be ranging from Staffordshire Bull Terriers to Bull Mastiffs, English Bull Terriers, and all of those sorts of crosses that you get in between, and they make up about 50% of the dogs that we take. The difficulty with those animals is because there are so many of them that they can stay in the home quite a long time.
Is it an emotional job for you?
It's emotional for me every day, every night. You're thinking about all of the animals that are relying on you to give them that second chance. And for the teams working on the front line, it's 10 times as difficult for them, because those are the people who forge the close relationships with all the animals that come in. Those are the people who look after them day in and day out and see them going through their journey through the home. And also those are the people who have to make the really tough decisions sometimes on a particular outcome for a dog, and that might be a decision to put that dog to sleep because it's the best thing for that dog. But those decisions break everyone's hearts every day.
Do you take in a lot of dogs that have been abused?
We do, actually. We see a lot of dogs that have been used particularly for illegal dog fighting, or dogs that have been used as bait dogs in illegal dog fighting, where they've had all their defences lowered. You know, they might have had their teeth filed down so they can't fight back. And those animals will come in very badly scarred, both mentally and physically. We get a lot of dogs who have all kinds of behavioural problems because they've come from owners who have just simply not known how to look after them, and there can obviously be cruel treatment that we will see and will detect in the way that animals behave. They can shy away, they can come forward, they can snap. There's all sorts of different behavioural traits that we have to try and understand when dogs with no background, no history come into the home. But many of the dogs that come in are very badly damaged in one way or another.
How rigorous is your process of rehoming a dog?
It's a bit of a mission to get a dog or a cat from Battersea, actually, because we want to be really sure that the animal going into the home is the perfect match. And so we ask people to bear with us, but actually also to show a commitment and go through that process with us. So we need all their details. They need to come in and have a look at what animals we think match their particular circumstances. If we match them up and they've got other animals, we need to meet those, particularly dogs. They've got to bring their dogs in. We like to meet all the other members of the family just to make sure that everybody's completely on board and understanding what it is and who it is that they're actually taking into their family.
Do you enjoy your job?
Best job in the world. I have to say, this is a place like no other. It's full of smiles, it's full of tears, it's full of happy endings, and it's full of decisions that do the right thing for all the animals that come through our doors. And it's full of people with a passion and a real shared desire to make a real difference. So yeah, I am very lucky in my job.
Claire, thank you very much for letting me spend the day with you.
You are very welcome, Matt. Very welcome indeed.